welcome back to my channel. My name is Anna and I'm coming to you from Minneapolis, Minnesota. This is a podcast about knitting, a little bit of sewing, and the adventures the craft takes me on. I hope you've been having a very good fall so far. It's been so beautiful here in Minnesota. We've had excellent weather. I just got back from mountain biking this morning with my friends and it was just what the doctor ordered. The leaves are peaking and the air is just so fresh now that it's cooling down. It was in the 40s this morning, Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is, Celsius. But yeah, it was really good. I've been feeling kind of blue lately, which is way too early going into the long dark winters that we have here in Minnesota. So it was just really good to get out, get some fresh air and some sunshine too. Yeah, I've had a pretty busy few weeks, which is why I didn't do a full podcast last week because I just didn't really get a lot of stuff done. But I feel like I have enough to show you this week. I'm sorry if you hear some background noise. My dogs are currently fighting over the same toy. Kevin, maybe you can get a different toy. Maybe they'll stop. We'll see. Before we get into some things, I just wanted to show you this wonderful tea that I've been drinking today. It's my first time trying this. It's the pumpkin spice rooibos tea from Trader Joe's. I used to drink tea all the time, and then this whole summer I just haven't been in the mood for it, which kind of made me sad, but now that it's fall and the temperatures are dropping, it's really all I've been craving in the afternoon, and it's perfect. Ah, yum. I highly recommend this one if you have a Trader Joe's by you. Also, I wanted to just show you my earrings really quick. I tried dressing like a little bit witchier this week with Halloween coming up, and I thought these earrings were perfect. I got them like a few weeks ago. I'm going to zoom in here. They're like little hands. Let me get my hair out of the way. With these flowers etched in. And I thought they were perfect because I make so much with my hands. And it's supporting an artist. It's not from like a company or anything. And her Instagram and I guess company is called While Odin Sleeps. So if you like kind of like funky earrings like this, I highly recommend checking her out. There's a lot of these kind of see-through plastic looking ones, and I just think they're so cool. But yeah, let's get into some knitting and eventually sewing. Starting out with some finished objects. I don't really have much to show. Technically I have two, but they're the same thing. And once again, it's the Gravel Beanie, which is the pattern made by me. Yarn is from Brooklyn Tweed Loft. I feel like I've been talking about this every single episode for the last like 4 or 5 episodes. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little burnt out on knitting hats, but this one was for my friend Bethany, who we kind of did a trade where she took a bunch of pictures for my platform just to have some more professional photos, and then I'm knitting her whole family some hats. So I have the 2 kids' hats done, which I talked about in previous episodes. I just finished hers, and then I'm going to make one for her husband as well, which is also going to be the Gravel Beanie, but I think I'm going to do the same modification as I did for the other one that I just finished for my best friend's boyfriend, which is the other finished object that I have. I don't have it here with me because I mailed it out to them right away and he tried it on and he loved it, but I'll put a picture right here from my Instagram. If you aren't following me, you can find me on Instagram at Brookwillow_, and I'll post everything down in the description below too. But I do post a lot of my final object photos and just process photos, whichever. But I don't know, you don't have to. I'm rambling on about it now. Anyways, those are the 2 objects that I have completed this week for knitting. I did finish a sewing one, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. I have so much work in progress to show you. I feel like I have like a ton of knitting projects going on right now, and I don't really know what happened because I didn't exactly add any new to it, but I'll just start talking about it so then you'll know. For starters, I have been working endlessly on the fisherman's sweater that I'm making for my partner. So I already did the first like panel of it, the front panel. I showed that a couple episodes ago, but I just wanted to quickly show my progress for the back panel. It's getting a little blown out, I think, but let me see. Maybe you can see it. I don't know. But basically just a classic fisherman's sweater. It's called the Strandhus Pullover by, put her name right here because I always have a hard time pronouncing it, but she made this pattern for Woolfolk. I'm really excited for it to be done. He's excited to wear it. Yeah, I don't think there's really much more to go into about this one, but I felt like I just had to document that I've been working on it because I did spend like an entire week knitting this one up. Next up is, oh yes, okay. So, if you've been following along from the beginning, specifically since episode 2, you'll be so proud to see this one because I've been talking about this project for so long. I cast on in March and I'm still working on it, but it is the Carpet Coat by Cafe Facet. I don't know how to pronounce the name. Is it Cafe Facet? Cafe Facet? Am I completely wrong with both of those? Who knows? But I thrifted a knitting book from him called Glorious Knits. I'll just grab it really quick. It's like right in front of me. Oh, okay. So here's the book. This is from the 80s. It's an amazing book. Every single pattern in it I want to make. I was actually just flipping through it again last night because all of the photography is actually really good for being from the 80s. Nothing against the 80s. I guess I shouldn't say that. I was even alive, so who am I to say anything? But here is the coat that I am making. There's like 2 photos, but here's kind of a up close. There we go. Sorry if the lighting is a little blown out. I got a ring light because it gets dark really quick here in Minnesota, and I just wanted to make sure that I had enough time to record these, so I'm still getting used to that. But anyways, back to the knitting. So I'll show you how far I got. It's kind of a mess because it's using like so many different colors. But here it is. I'm showing it to the best of my ability. Okay, so if you've been following along, you will know that I actually made the entire back portion of this coat, and only then did I realize it was just going to be way too long. It was basically floor length, which is just not really something that I want to wear. But so I ripped the whole thing out. If you want to see a very painful video of it, you can find it on my Instagram in the Reels section. I recorded it really fast, me ripping out the whole thing. But anyways, I re-knit it and I learned a lot of lessons in the process. So for starters, I was using the wrong needle sizes. They were a size too large. And second, I decided to eliminate the bottom panel from it. I was going to eliminate 2 bottom portions of the coat because I thought I wanted it to kind of hit like around my thigh area, but I might only need to remove 1 because now that I'm using different needles, my is it row gauge is a lot smaller, so it's not as stretched out. But I am so happy I started over. I really like the way that I'm using the colors now. One second, Kevin, you can have this back when we're done, okay? They hate me right now because I keep taking away all their toys. Just one moment. Okay, so where was I? Right. I ended up buying some new yarn colors to motivate myself to start working on this again, and I'm just really in love with it. So this middle piece was one of the newer colors that I bought. This is Malabrigo's Rasta, and I don't even remember what color. Again, I'm going to put it here or down in the description. So I also made another modification on here. If you see the rib, this is funny. If you see the rib portion right down here, they actually wanted half the amount of stitches and then to increase it by 2 once you started the color work. But it made it like way too cinched at the bottom. So like imagine this, but half the amount of stitches. It made it like so cinched, kind of like that, and it just, you couldn't see the color work. And I also don't want all that fabric bubbling up around my hips and my butt because I just don't think it'll look really flattering. So I made double the amount of stitches for the ribbing, and I'm happy I did because it still gives it a little cinch because you're using smaller needle sizes and it's knit and purl before you go into the stockinette stitch. So it still creates a little cinch, but not as extreme as they had it in the directions. So yeah, I've been working really hard on that, and I think that's a good segue into my next work in progress because it actually relates with each other. So if you saw my last episode, podcast episode where I was knitting by the river, I showed you some of the spinning that I started doing, and it was so bad. It's like not good spinning. And I actually went to a fiber festival last weekend, and there was so much fiber and people spinning, and it was just really inspiring to kind of start over and do it right. So I started that spinning over, and I feel like it's so much better. So this is what I have here. Okay. It's just a lot thinner and more even than I had before. This is just a lighter colors. There's so many different colors with the fiber that I got for it. But here it is, yeah. I am very happy I started over because this is looking 1,000 times better, and I think I'm going to ply it, just 2-ply to make it thicker, because I'm going to use it in that cardigan that I just showed you. And I think I'm going to use it for the upper portion for this pattern that will be right there. Moving into my next work in progress, I'm going to grab it really quick. So, okay, this one I technically haven't started yet, so maybe it doesn't count. But in my last podcast episode, Knitting by the River, I told you the whole story about the woman that I met at work and how I'm going to finish a blanket that her mother was working on. And I didn't get to show you the blanket there because I had to hike into the location that I was at. And I just didn't really want to bring this one outside because it's white and I didn't want to get it dirty. But I was just going to show you really quick how far the woman got. And here is the blanket. This is very similar to the fisherman's sweater that I'm making, so it's kind of perfect. I'm still in cable mode, so it'll be pretty easy. I actually only have one more panel to go on the side here, and then the blanket is done, as well as adding some tassels to it. But here I can show you a little bit closer. Again, it's pretty blown out, but hopefully you can see it. Yeah, so this one isn't gonna take me very long. She was hoping to have it done by Christmas, and honestly, like, once I get a couple more projects just completed, I'd be able to finish this in like a week maybe, since I just have this portion left. But I just wanted to show you it since I didn't get to show you it last episode. I have a lot of new acquisitions to show you this week, which seems to be a trend with every one of my videos, but it's fun. So first up is a book that I got actually about a month ago, and I kind of forgot to show you last time, but I'm so freaking excited for this. So here it is. It's The Wilderness Knits by Linka Newman. I believe she's from Norway, and this book has been out, I think, for a couple of years. Let me check. 2019, I think, is when it came out, but it just came out in English. So I got my hands on it. I had to pre-order it. The only place I could find it was on Amazon, which I felt bad buying something through Amazon, but hopefully she's reimbursed the way she should be for it. Sometimes you just can't avoid it. But I have never wanted to knit every single sweater in a book until I found this one. The Glorious Knits has a lot of awesome ones, but this one is just amazing. I want to show you some of the sweaters that she has in here. The photography is great. But I'll just show you some of my top faves. Okay, I think this one is the one that I'm gonna make first, because it's the one that I saw that made me buy this book. I hope you can see, but oh my god, I'm just obsessed. These are all very like Scandinavian looking sweaters. I think she uses Icelandic yarn for all of them, and just the color pairings that she puts together for all of the sweaters are so inspirational. So that one's really good. Here's another one that I really want to make. They're pretty much all color work, and that's my favorite way to knit, is color work. So I'm very excited, and I fully plan on using these as my ski sweaters. I cross-country ski about 3 times a week in the winter, so it'll be nice to have a little more variety on what I can wear out there This one is really cool too. Again, I just love the color work in here. I highly recommend this book. I haven't knit anything up yet, but I believe this will be the next sweater that I make once I finally finish up some other projects. Okay, so next up is, like I mentioned earlier, I went to the Minnesota Fiber Festival. It took place the same time as Rhinebeck, so it was kind of fun. I still got to have a little bit of fun on the woolly weekend. I went with my friend and picked up quite a few things. So the only yarn that I got is this sock yarn. I saw it and I just fell in love with the colorway. I'm probably not gonna make any socks for myself, but this is gonna be for someone that I'll gift to this winter. I just loved all of the greens and the burgundies, kind of like a raspberry. They're very like summer colors, which will be kind of nice to wear in the dead of winter when everything's just gray. But this particular yarn is from Honey Gold Anchors, which I think is from Hugo, Minnesota. That was the other thing that was fun about this festival, because everything was local too, so I felt really good about supporting everyone local. But this is 80% superwash wool and 20% nylon, so they will be great for making some socks. And I plan on making Andrea Mowry's everyday socks in this. I'm also going to try having 2 socks at a time on my circular needle, because I definitely get second sock syndrome and it just seems really efficient to do. I watched a tutorial on how to do it, so I'll probably start this pretty soon here. I got 2 more things from the Fiber Festival, and they both are just that, fiber. I really got the spinning itch. It doesn't sound good. The spinning bug? I don't know. I just want to spin all the time now. I spent the day after I got back from the festival, I spent literally the entire day spinning that other yarn that I showed you. And it's just so addicting and so fun. And now that I got these special fibers, it just makes me so much more excited. But let me just show you. So this is the first braid that I got. It's kind of this golden yellow. This color kept speaking to me every time I saw it at the festival, so it was really good that I finally went home with one. And this is Icelandic roving wool, dyed with walnut leaf, so I believe this was naturally dyed. And this is from the company Get Bent's Farm, located in Northfield, Minnesota. I loved everything she had to offer. I will definitely probably be back to buy more once I spin this bad boy up. Oh, I just thought it was so pretty though. Mitch told me it looks like Goldilocks' braid, and it actually does. It's kind of funny. And then I bought some more fiber from Dakota Carding. They are located in South Dakota, in Groton, South Dakota. But here is the fiber that I got from them. So beautiful. I got this like huge bag of it. I really liked this one because it paired well with the other one that I got. So I feel like eventually down the road, whenever I get these 2 spun up, I could potentially use them together in whatever pattern I end up making with it. But again, super excited to spin this. I'm just spinning on my drop spindle. That's enough for me to handle right now before I dive into like a wheel or anything. and it's just not really in my budget right now to buy an entire wheel. So just happy with the drop spindle for now. All right, the last acquisition I have, which I guess it's technically an acquisition, and if you saw my last bonus episode on how to turn a sweater back into yarn, this is it. I just wanted to talk a little more about this. I've been loving the idea of being as sustainable as I can with knitting. It's a huge reason why I knit. I worked in fast fashion for over 10 years, and it kind of makes me sick just how awful it is, especially seeing things firsthand. And now that I got out of it, like, all I want to do is the slowest possible fashion there is, which is knitting. But even with knitting, it's not completely sustainable based on what you buy. Definitely if you're purchasing stuff from local farmers, that's great, but even some of the yarn that you get at the big box stores probably aren't that great to create, and who knows what kind of chemicals are going into it and being transmitted out in the process. I don't know, sometimes it's hard to escape, but I always thought it would be really cool to find a sweater at a thrift store and turn it back into yarn and then knit something new with it, because it creates absolutely no demand for virgin fiber, and it's just kind of a fun way to mix it up. So I was very lucky. My friend and I went thrifting one day, and I went in with the intention of trying to find a sweater to turn back into yarn, and I got very lucky. I got this like Gap sweater from the men's section. It was an XL, which is great because you get like a ton more yardage the bigger the sweater is, and it's now in pieces, but here's one of the panels that I haven't spun up yet. So yeah, just Gap. It was 100% lamb's wool, and it's a slightly thicker yarn too. It's not too thin, so I feel like it'll be easier to work with. And I like the color. I don't wear a ton of blue, but it's fun to have every once in a while, and I liked how this was more of a denim blue. So here is all the yarn I got out of just one of the panels. It's a lot of yarn. I still have to unwind 2 more panels, but obviously it's a sweater's quantity because I took all of the yarn from the sweater, but it's just amazing how much you can get out of it, because this sweater costs $12.99, and if you got a sweater's quantity of lamb's wool, I feel like it would be at least like $75, maybe more. But this is a really cool way to get some yarn. It turned out pretty nice. Some people asked how the fiber was after I wound it up, because you know, when you pull it out, it looks like ramen noodles or whatever. It still kind of does. I'm just unwinding it a little bit. And I know some people have washed the yarn before they put it back into a ball, but I thought it was just easier to wind it into a ball right away after taking it out from the sweater, because it would have gotten like super tangled. And that's why we block at the end of our projects, so hopefully it will turn out just fine. I've also unraveled my own sweaters that I've had to frog like 3 or 4 times and re-knit them every time, and they always end up looking nice, so I'm not worried about that. I already have a project in mind that I want to make with this, and it's something that I've been wanting to make for a while. There we go. Don't mind my bird clock. So the pattern is from Fiber Tales, who has a beautiful podcast. Also, I'm sure you've checked it out. If you've seen me, you have to have seen her because she has a pretty large following. But I can't remember the name of the sweater that I wanted to knit, but I'm gonna show you a picture here. I really wanted a cable sweater for myself that was like a little boxier, just because I tend to like to wear boxier sweaters. And I saw this one and I felt like it was perfect, and I feel like it's going to be a great project for knitting that blue yarn with. I feel like it's been forever since I finished anything with sewing, but finally I have something that I made. A while ago I told you about how my friend gave me a curtain panel that was just like a very lightweight wool fabric. It's like super thin. And we both said that we were going to make blouses out of it. So it's kind of fun to see how each person's blouse is going to turn out differently. And I'm very happy with the pattern that I chose. I knew I wanted something very flowy, and I also wanted buttons, just because I haven't really sewn any buttons yet. So it was like a new technique that I wanted to try out. And I was like searching the web forever, and I couldn't really find something exactly as I wanted. And then I remembered that I still have the pattern for the Pipit Loungewear Set from Common Stitch. I sewed up the shorts twice. The first time they just didn't fit right, and then the second time they fit perfect because I knew how to change it. But I never got around to making the top portion. So I thought it was like a perfect opportunity to make the top. So I'll just go ahead and show you now. Here it is. I just love the shape of this. The sleeves especially are such a statement on this blouse. And I really liked the buttons too. Originally, I was going to do like dark brown buttons, but this taupe fabric is kind of like darker than I really wanted it to be. So I thought it'd be nice to lighten it up with lighter buttons. I can give you a close-up of the buttons. So I am very happy with my button choice. This is like super sheer and see-through, but I think that makes it kind of fun. Obviously I would wear like a tank top or maybe even just like a sports bra underneath, but I just think it's really pretty. I'll show you the back. Not as exciting, but yeah, here it is. Here is a picture of me wearing the blouse. I just didn't feel like changing my outfit to try it on right now, but I feel like this is a good depiction of how it fits. I always love having a front tuck for just about anything that I wear, so this is exactly how I would style it, with just some dark denim jeans or maybe like a longer skirt. Ooh, I have a long knit skirt that I bought from somewhere that's like a dark gray brown. That'd actually be really cute with this. Or I could make a knit skirt. Oh my gosh. Or I could make a knit skirt. There's gotta be patterns out there for that. Ooh, that's a good idea. Okay, just adding projects in my brain all the time. The next tiny little sewing project that I have is kind of funny because it's just very small. I don't know about you, but I always have a hard time figuring out the front and back of the sweaters that I make. And so I know a lot of people add tags to it. to help them figure it out. And it's just like a fun little detail showing how you made it. I almost bought some tags online, and then I remembered, I don't know, I have a lot of scrap fabric and my sewing machine can do like very basic monogramming, so I thought it'd be kind of fun to make my own tags. So I just started messing around last night with it, just practicing how to monogram. So don't judge the fabric and the colors. I wouldn't normally put this together, but I just thought it was kind of cute. Here we go. How I could make it monogram to just say Brookwillow. And I weirdly like how it looks like a child made it. It just shows that it's handmade. I'm not trying to be a factory here and make like super professional clothing. I thought this was just like a little fun. So I'll use all of my different scraps. I kind of want to figure out how to make the font smaller if that's possible so the tag isn't so wide, but that'll be a cute little sewing project for me to work on in the coming weeks. That's pretty much all that I have for you all. Thanks again for sticking around and following along with all of my episodes. I feel like I've already made so many friends virtually, which is exactly what I wanted when starting this channel. So I think it's awesome. If you like what you see, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, welcome. If you want to see more of my episodes, make sure you subscribe and then you'll get notified every time I make an episode. I hope you all have a great fall. Try to get outside and see the leaves if you can. I have to take these dogs to the dog park because I promised them I would once we're all done. And yeah, I'll talk to you all next time. Bye!